Good morning and welcome to the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting for January 21st, 2025. Call the meeting to order. Our land acknowledgement. The city respectfully acknowledges the Beaver, Cree, Dene, and Métis people as the original caretakers of these lands and surrounding areas. We are grateful to live, learn, work, and play on Treaty 8 territory within Turtle Island, and acknowledge these lands have been home to diverse and sovereign First Nations and Inuit nations since time immemorial. I don't see adopt the agenda. Oh, sorry. On this committee, myself, Councillor Thiessen, Councillor Bressy, and Mayor Clayton. Councillor Bressy?
I would move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
All right.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
And that passes unanimously. Service area update, Chief Waitway.
Thank you, Chair Burke. The tax and assessment team has updated the tax installment payment letters and mailed them out to property owners. So those are property owners that pay monthly. These letters do indicate an updated monthly payment to take into consideration with their new assessment and the proposed tax change for 2025. How this works is these payments are an estimate for the first 5 months. Once taxes are levied, the payment amounts revised so that the account will be at zero by December 31st. On that note, approximately 45% of our total levy is collected through a monthly payment plan. Property assessment notices are going to be mailed to property owners at the end of this week. Property owners should expect to start receiving the notices in the mail, hopefully in the start of next week. And if property owners do not receive their notice within a couple weeks, please contact our assessment and taxation department. Finance staff are working through year-end procedures and preparing for the 2024 audit that's scheduled to commence in early March. And finally, procurement has a number of bids on the market. This does include seasonal rental vehicles, Mission Estates storm rehabilitation, homeless prevention and diversion services, Crystal Lake tree planting design, Bear Creek control structure annual inspection, and soft body armor and carriers, as well as hard body armor for GPPS. And that does conclude my update, Chair Burke. Thank you.
All right. Any questions from the committee? Councillor Bressy?
Thank you. Are you able to report yet what our average assessment change was?
Thank you. Through the chair. No, at this point I don't, but I will have it prepared for committee when it's ready.
Great,
Thanks.
Anyone else? I have one question. Did the mail strike impact us in any way?
Thank you, Chair Burke. No, we haven't seen impacts from the mail strike.
Okay, thank you. All right, 5.2, 2024 Audit Service Plan. Chief Waitway.
Thank you, Chair Burke. This morning, we are asking that Financial and Administrative Services Committee recommend Council receive the Audit Service Plan for 2024 for information. So I would invite our Auditor, Tanya Edmonds, to walk through with Committee the Audit Service Plan this morning.
Ms. Edmonds. And you could pull that close too.
Closer to me? Okay. Scary. So hello, my name is Tanya Edmonds and I'm a partner with MNP and I've been there for just a little over 20 years and auditing has kind of been my thing since then. So I understand that you had a copy of this audit service plan in your agenda package, so I'm just going to go over the highlights of it. And if you have any questions, then please let me know. So I'm here, I guess, to talk about the 2024 audit that we will commence in March. We follow our Canadian auditing standards as a requirement of the Institute when we're doing our audit. So a lot of the things in this is based on our judgment and our methodology that we're kind of been directed to use. One of the things, there's no real big key reporting requirements in the year. However, there is one change with regards to revenue recognition that you may see different on your financial statements next year, or this year, I guess, compared to in the past, and that's gift in kind for buildings like for rent and things like that. We are now required to have a look at that and to record it. So that will be something different that you haven't seen. We will be in contact with the auditors of Aquaterra and the library, not the library, but the airport as a result of one of the new auditing standards as well. There are some risk assessment areas that we will focus on when we do the audit. However, none of these are specific to you. They are a result of, again, our auditing standards and our normal. They're based on our judgment, based on our knowledge of the organization. So I'll just highlight those, and if you have any questions, you can go over those or ask me. The first one being management override of internal controls. We will look at that. Taxes receivable and tax revenue, trade payables and other accrued liabilities, agreements receivable, deferred revenue and restricted contributions, transfers from other organizations and general expenses. And then we also will have a look at your site contamination and landfill liabilities, which was a new handbook section in the prior year. And we will look at debt and the swaps that you are involved with. So the key milestones is that we were out in November, did some interim testing. We will come back in March, and then we will release the financial statements in mid-April. Our audit materiality, so when we go through an audit, we use a dollar value that's used to assess the significance of the transactions, how big a misstatement might be, and the end result is how much testing do we do. And so that's based on professional judgment. It's based on our guidance and references from the handbook. And so we have used 3% of our budgeted expenses, and so it comes out to be $6 million. We do report, though, everything that's 5% or more of that to management, and they have the ability to adjust anything if they want to. So it's not that you don't see anything that's under $6 million. You see everything that's over $300,000. The fees and assumptions we have, it was $90,000, and that was in the RFP process that went through last fall. There's a whole whack of other pages in the document that's more for information, and the key is, one of the key things, I guess, in there is just saying that M&P is independent of the city and we don't make any decisions, and M&P can release the report, the auditor's report, in an independent way. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Councillor Bressy.
Great, thank you. I'm wondering if you've had any discussion yet on how you're going to treat the police service. Is it going to be the same engagement you do for any city department, or is there going to be a different process with police department?
Right now, we haven't had any discussion on that. I'm not expecting it to be material for 2024.
Yeah, go ahead.
But we will, as we go through, and this document is what our plan is today, but as we go through and as we come up with new information, and the procedures and plan will change. It's a work in progress for sure.
Great. Yeah, and I don't really want to have discussion about that today, but I know when the audit comes back, that's just something we need to start figuring out in the next couple of years. So look for those conversations. And if I may, one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the materiality threshold, that's 3% of total operating plus capital budget?
No,
or is that
just amortization, not your capital budget, not what you plan to spend. No.
Great, thank you.
All right, and I have one question. Just curious, when you'd mentioned that we're going to record rents that we're currently doing gift in kind differently, how will that work? Because I know that there's a number of places we currently charge $1 for. Mm-hmm. We go with fair market value, and in that report, do you forecast any positive or negative effects for the city?
So I think if it would be at fair market value, that's how it would be recorded. The positive would be that the world will see what you're actually giving to organizations and the input that you're giving back to the community versus it being recorded as $1.
Okay, thank you.
But the net impact would be zero because it will come in as income and expense. But
okay, thanks. Anything else? No? Okay, thanks, Ms. Edmonds. All right, so next item. Oh, okay. Councillor Bressy.
Sorry, I'm just digging through my notes and looking for one more. I I forget what the discussion was, but there was. I remember about a year ago having a discussion about there were potential changes in how budget is reflected in our financial statements coming out of public sector accounting practices. And the issue we always have is our budget in our statements is very different than the budget that our residents see, because they see a cash budget instead of that. And there was talks about those standards changing. I'm wondering if there were any changes to those standards this year that could impact us.
Okay. Do you want me to answer that? So currently, under the handbook, there are no changes to the budget, but that is a standard that's coming out in, I don't know if it's next year or the year after. There are some changes in how things are being presented and shown and what schedules things are being shown on. And some of the names of your statements, of the schedules in your financial statements are changing. But that's a provincial-wide, country-wide standard.
So they're still coming, not...
Still coming, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Chief Waitway?
Thank you, Chair Berg. Just to supplement, we did add a couple years back a note disclosure specifically reconciling budget. That will help us when this gets released and we have more direction. But you are correct. We budget very cash basis, what's coming in versus what we need to spend, balancing to zero. But of course, accounting is done on an accrual basis. So the intention is one day budget will match accounting for accuracy.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Okay, moving to the next item, 6.0. Oh, thank you. All right, can I get a motion on this? Councilor Bressie.
I would move that committee recommend council receive the 2024 audit service plan for information.
All right, that's in order. Call the question. And that carries unanimously. And 6.1, go in camera. Councilor Bressie.
I'm happy to keep on racking up the scoreboard. I'd move we go in camera.
All right, that's in order. Call the question. And that passes unanimously. Welcome back to the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting. Moving down to items 7, 8, and 9. They're blank. So, Chief Whiteway with outstanding items list.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Burke. No changes to the outstanding items list as you have in your agenda package. Still on track to report in those timelines.
All right. Can I get a motion from Councillor Thiessen?
Maybe. Yeah, okay. I'd move that we approve the outstanding items list as presented.
And that's in order. Call the question. And that passes unanimously. And this meeting is adjourned.